Good morning, good day, and good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. This is Radio Works World, and I'm going to be your host today, Marisa di Muro, and I'm going to share my story with you.
So tell me, Marisa, what happened that changed your mind about who you are and who you want to be? What happened in if you consider life being this karmic coin, on one side is your past, and that's the told story, and on the other side is your vision, the untold story. Let's start with the past. Who is Marisa di Muro?
My past, I like to think that it makes me a survivor. My past comes from a very small village in southern Italy called Senerchia, in the province of Campania, about an hour and a half inland from Naples. And there was a very big life change for me on the 23rd of November 1980, when my village was hit by a very violent earthquake. And this earthquake not only shook my life, it changed my life, but changed everyone's life in that village. And we lost many lives. Amongst them was my mother, Guarnaccia Grazia. I was almost 14 when it happened, and on that evening of the 23rd of November, I didn't understand what was going on, because I'd never been spoken or been prepared for an earthquake. I wasn't prepared. And I keep repeating that to myself. I was not prepared for it. And it happened about 8:30 in the evening. I was at home, just like I was every evening, with my mum and dad, and my cousin happened to be there because she was waiting for a phone call. We happened to be the lucky ones to have a phone in our house. And we just had dinner, and the ground started moving up and down, side to side, and my dad started shouting, it's an earthquake, run, run, run. He started running towards the door, our kitchen door, and aiming for the main door, front door. My mother followed him, and so did my cousin. I was still in shock. This was like just within a few seconds. I managed to stand up from the sofa because I was watching TV, and I started following them. I started following them in those few seconds, and then you don't see anything else, and everything comes down on you. And I felt the feeling that I felt at that time. I felt I was being sucked away in this tunnel, a light tunnel full of light. I was being sucked away. And I felt all of a sudden, I felt that on the ground beneath me, I had landed in a position that I was kneeling. I was kneeling down, and I was holding my hands over my head while all the rubbles were falling down, rocks, whatever, the whole house, other houses on top of each other was all falling down at any seconds, any fraction of a second. I could have gone any time. So that was it for me. I was gone. There was nothing else. And that lasted, those few seconds that it lasted. And I don't even know whether I was breathing in those few seconds or I just stopped living. And when all the noise and the strong like wind had sort of stopped in your head and around you, when it stopped, and I realized behind me was just empty. There was nothing behind me. I sat up, and I realized that behind me was a space that I could stand up and move off. I had actually ended up in the basement. I believe I landed like one floor down. and something was sheltering me, was protecting me. And I came out of there, and there was smoke, and there were mountains and mountains of rubbles screaming. It was dark in the evening, and there was this bright, this full moon that you could see. And I could hear my dad calling me, because he was like half buried in the rubble. And he had his arms out, and he was calling for help. And I saw him. And my cousin was like a few meters away, holding her head because she was bleeding. So I could see my dad, my cousin there, and where's my mother? And I started calling her, and I was calling her, and I was calling my mother, my mother. And my dad was saying, come and help me. But I was still calling my mother, because he was there. Where was my mother? I kept searching. And I wasn't able to help him, because I couldn't see my mother. And I could see people wandering around and shouting and screaming. And I left my dad there. I was in shock as much as him. I couldn't help him, because I was searching and calling out for my mother. And I was just wandering around, not knowing what I was doing, where I was, what I had to do. I just could not react. And I don't know in what state of mind I was at that time. That evening, my mother died, and the entire village of, say, about 700-800 people, of which most of them had immigrated. We lost about 65 people. Each family has somebody that died in that earthquake. And our village has never ever been like that again. And I have it just in my memory. Those of us who saw the village as it was before, it was so beautiful, so full of character. And I can't share that with anybody. Yes, we have some photos. I can't even show it to my children. It just stays in my memory with me. The narrow streets, the little shops where certain people lived, where I played. And I could take the whole of the interview talking about this and what happened afterwards, where I stayed in the village for only the next week. And then I came to England to live with my sister. And I didn't have the courage to go back, even though my dad survived. I wasn't able to go back, and I didn't go back, and I have to live. I have to live with that. Since I was a young child, I didn't think much of that village. I was bored there. I wanted to see what was outside the world rather than the mountains, the everyday mountains, the view that I saw every day. And people say to me now, wow, that is where you live. That is so beautiful. But I was bored of seeing that. I wanted to get out of there. I wanted to be free. I wanted to see beyond those mountains and those hills. And so I had my freedom. I paid the price. And the price was that I lost my mother. So I had my freedom, and I came to live in this country, in UK, and I came to live with my sister and her family. And I didn't go back. And I have to live with that. I didn't go back to live with my dad. That was my chance to explore a different side of life outside of the village. I treasure that village. It's always been in my heart. And that is who I really, really am, beside who I am trying to become, or I've tried to become. I always dreamt of being a star. I could not be a star by being in a small village. I had to get out, and I'm still searching for that, and I still want to establish myself in that. And I am grateful that I can share this story of who I am, and I can be a star with my story. And my passion, one of my passions has always been to sing, to be on the stage, to be a performer, and to reach out to as many people as possible. So throughout my years, I've kept up my singing, I've kept up my training. Nothing, I have not let anything stop me, anything that's happened in my life. I have done, yes, some 9-to-5 jobs, but I knew it was not for me. My mission was something else. And I have stuck to my mission, and I will always stick to it no matter what happens. Because I want to die happy saying I've stuck to what I wanted to do.
What do you think your music brings into other people's life?
I don't do it intentionally. I can only say what other people tell me. They say to me, you reached right inside me. You bring out, you reach my soul. How can I not do that? From all my experiences that I have, it is what comes out of me. Yes, I need to have a technique, but with that technique, I can't just sing beautiful, pretty notes. There is the feeling. I am the instrument. I am the product. And when I sing, I am involved 2000% with the production of the sound and connected to who I am. And I would never be able to move people if I didn't have that in me.
Do you remember a moment a significant moment, when somebody made you their gate to joy, their last moments of their life?
It's actually happened not long ago that I lost my niece to cancer. This was just on the 1st of December, 1st or 2nd, I can't remember right now. Her cancer had grown so much that it was choking her to death, and she was on her deathbed at the hospital. And there was her husband, my sister, her mother, and my brother-in-law, her dad, and I was there. And she had to make the decision for the main doctors, to inject her with medicines, very powerful medicine, to put her to sleep, to put her to die, because she would have panicked and she would have just choked to death. So when I got to the hospital, they were about to do that, and we were all crying, and my sister asked her daughter, she said, Mirella, what do you want me to do? Do you want me to pray? And she said, I want you to sing. She said to her mum. So she started singing. And I joined her. We were singing some happy, like church songs, keeping a bit jolly. Church or children's songs that she knew, that I knew. And I was carrying on. And I thought, I can't take this very special moment and sing. This is a very special moment, not just for me, but for my sister, her mum, her dad, her husband. So then there were the doctors injecting her all these chemicals, this poison. And I said to her, I said, Mirella, do you want me to carry on singing? And she nodded with her head, and she was peaceful. So I carried on singing for her. And that was making her feel calm and peaceful. And I said to myself, I have nothing to fear after that. Because she said to make that decision and leave a child a 4-year-old child behind and make that decision. I have nothing to fear when I stand in front of people and I have to sing and I'm scared and I'm worried. I have nothing to fear compared to what she had to decide, and she's given me so much strength. And I said to myself, really, at the end of the day, it does not matter to me if I sell multi-millions records, CDs, or whatever you want to call it, platinum, gold, and all this stuff. That doesn't matter, because what I did that one day, and I have her to thank for that.
So tell me, Marisa, you are receiving now invitations to sing on different stages. I know you are going to go to Canada, to Turkey. You are going to lots of events each month. And perhaps you are going somewhere tonight and sing. And I know everybody is waiting for you, and everybody enjoys your music. And you bring something that most people need in their life. I don't know if it's the joy, I don't know if it's the passion you are singing with, but I remember that Bob Marley said once, when music hits you, it's the only thing that doesn't hurt. So what is music for you? What music means for you?
Music is the expression of life. Some of us, we want to hide. We don't want to feel certain things. We don't want to look at certain things. We don't want to look at the pain. We all want to feel happy and jolly and positive. Well, we can only get to that if we are able to peel the layers of us and go through the process. And only then I can project and, through music, use what I have worked on myself to give to people and allow people to reach people and allow people to feel what perhaps it's hidden somewhere. They don't want to see because they are too professional, or they don't want to see it because they can't get out of being depressed because whatever reason they have. Music, the power of music is to heal. And if I can help myself to heal myself, I can put that in the music, and that only then I can do to other people. Otherwise, I'm just mechanical, singing notes, singing perfect notes. Everything is pretty and everything is right. Everything is in the right place. Yes, very difficult piece you're singing, but it doesn't go through. To be able to go through your soul to reach something else. So it's a little bit like feeding your soul. Food for your soul. I'm not saying I have superpowers or anything like that. But when people show the reaction, you gave me goosebumps, or they come and hug me, or all of a sudden they have tears in their eyes. It's not manufactured, it's not intentional, it happens because of the energy that it reaches. And I always say to people, it's different to have a live performer singing to you than to have a recording. If I can manage to give goosebumps through a recording, that is good. But if you can hear me live, that's even better.
So Marisa, you are a gift to our world, and there is not enough depth within words to express how much joy you bring in my life, in my friends' lives, in everybody that meets you. They all feel your magic. Is something magic about your voice. Is something magic about your story. And I know your vision is to help as many people as you can to go through difficult times and to overcome their challenges and turn challenges into opportunities. I know your CD is out and I know is available, and if our listeners wants to have your music, they could go to our website or to your website, and they could download or just connect with you, so you will be able to help them. But tell me, what is exciting and it's happening right now in your life, and I know it's happening because in many ways I'm very humbled that you made me part of it. So tell us about your book.
My book, yes. Well, only a couple of years ago I was asked to start writing my music. And I thought, me writing my own songs? This guy must be mad. But I started doing that, and a couple of them are on my CD. And I've been asked to write a book. Me write a book? I thought, why not? Where do I start? So I have actually started. And I have started writing, well, perhaps they are chapters. And just like writing a song, even though the book is much longer in length, I thought, shall I start from a title, or shall I just write things down? And just like in the songs, it's as painful, but at the same time is reliving myself, allow myself to relive things and to be able to share them, because we don't realize how much we have in us, and we think, oh well, I'm just so used to, sometimes I'll happen to speak about the earthquake, oh I came from there, that and that and that. People get shocked there and then I move on to something else, but there is more to that. So the book allows me to go in depth. And I am
dig in into your stardust.
Digging in, yes. It's always the digging in, yes. I seem to be digging in all the time.
So do you have a book title yet?
Food for your soul.